Do, do,
I
do,
will say
do,
what I don't like about StreamYard is that they don't give us a little countdown.
do. Well, it's just weird for me not seeing all the background stuff.
Oh no, I have the power now.
You can see all the things. I can't see shit.
You are my guest in StreamYard.
Welcome to my home. Oh man,
Anyway,
hello.
anyway, I'm glad we're only recording 2 today because I am tired already.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I threw it out there as an option. Do you want to split it? 2 and
Yeah,
2?
no, I
You know?
do. I wanna do less. That
Yeah.
is that is always what I wanna do,
That's
Naomi.
always the goal. Less.
If
Yeah.
I can do less every day, I would.
Doing less. Yeah, let's make that. Let's make that
I
a
need to
thing.
stop sitting on my foot so it doesn't go numb like it did last time, okay? I
I'm
just
all
need
for
to get a
doing
new
less.
I need to get a new chair at some point. We say this like every episode. One
I
day I will
know.
buy a better desk chair.
Yeah, I love my chair. I have no complaints. I
Somebody
love.
did say in the comments, "Go to Office Max and sit on some chairs." But I don't think
Oh
I have an
yeah,
Office Max.
I did see that. I did see that. Although I rolled the dice with my chair and Caleb's chair. He has a nice gaming chair that I bought. He loves it. He loves it a
There's
great deal.
this, like, XL big boy chair, executive chair. It's for very tall, very hefty people. People who,
Oh,
need some room and some support
yeah.
and some height, and so I was like, "This sounds like it would be ideal." It's, like, super
Okay.
cushy looking. It's got the little pull-out footrest,
Right.
and I kinda like the big and tallness of it all because, like, I feel like I
Right.
can, like, because you know what? You watch me. I don't sit normally in any chair. I can't do
No,
it.
you don't.
So, I feel like it will allow me more room because it's,
Yeah.
like, built for, like, 400-pound, 6'6" men.
Oh,
I should
it's
be
built for
able
my
to,
man.
like yeah, it's built for Larry. It's a Larry chair.
It's
And
a
so,
Larry
like,
chair.
I
Send me that link.
with the one I want first of all, it's, like, 200 and something dollars, and then the one I want is, out of stock, of course, and has been since
Of
I put it
course.
but, maybe one day because it's this really pretty, almost, like, minty, sagey green.
Mm,
Everything else is, like, black, brown,
right.
man. I don't want that.
Right. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
white. I don't want that either.
My chair is white.
Oh, no, it looks lovely, but I'll spill on it.
So
You
comfy.
can't you can't trust me to have the white
Well,
chair.
it's leather. You just wipe this off. I mean, this is more like cream. It's a cream color,
It's
cream,
lovely. It's lovely.
you know, but it feels good. It's good for my back. Those back issues. It's good for my back.
Yeah, I need, like this is too short. I need something that goes, like, all the way up my body and just, like, hugs
Mhm.
me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why Kato
Mm.
likes his gaming chair because it's like, you know how the gaming chairs are. And then also
Yeah.
has a footrest, you
Yep,
know.
this has a footrest.
Mhm.
It's very
Yeah, he really
squishy
likes it.
looking.
And I did sit in it, after my brother put it together. I was like, "Oh, this is wow, I should have got myself one. It's really comfy. It's really
Yeah.
comfy."
There's one gaming chair at the GameStop that I've sat in a bunch, but, like, I can't tell if I like it. I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it.
Mm. Then it's not the chair for you.
I think what I need the Larry chair. I need the big boy chair.
Yeah, yeah. Send me that link because he needs an office chair for his house.
I almost want, like, to be able to just dangle my feet on it, honestly. I wanna feel like a tiny little lady. That's what I wanna
You're not
feel
the
like.
tall lady that you are.
No, I'm too tall as it is.
I don't think I've ever had a friend that's taller than me.
Other than me,
Uh-huh. Usually I'm always the
I feel
tallest.
blessed.
Usually
Feel
I'm the
blessed.
tallest or like someone is like, like a half of an inch shorter than me. But I've never had a friend taller than
Um,
I am.
I don't have many short friends anymore, and not by choice. It just
Just
Somehow all the short friends have disappeared. I don't
just
know if it's
went
7
away.
years of, like, awkward posing in photos or something. I just don't have that many short friends anymore.
That's funny. I
For
love
being
that.
honest, for being honest.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
what are you currently reading?
A book that's terrifying the crap out of me called Nuclear War by Annie Jacobson. Thank you, Dutton, for sending me this terrifying book. I'm scared to death and I love it.
Is it fiction?
No. So let me
Oh,
just
that
read
makes
you
that
the
worse.
inside. It says there's only one scenario other than an asteroid strike that could end the world as we know it in a matter of hours: nuclear war. And one of the triggers for that war would be a nuclear missile inbound toward the United States. She's given us a
And
scenario
there's
like what if, and she's giving us information about, how things started and how nuclear bombs were even created, and talking about meetings that were had back in the 60s that talked about using nuclear war on the Soviet Union and things like that. And there's lots of graphs and photos and charts in here, and it's all very terrifying. And the chapters kind of go like, it'll say like 2 minutes 30 seconds. It's like, so this is what could happen once we're 2 minutes or 30 seconds out from somebody pushing that button, right? And I'm just giving you a scenario, like based on where you are, based on
we're
that
dead,
where
Naomi.
it's coming from. And it's like, if this ever happens, please, I just want to like just I just want to go. I don't want to survive this. This sounds effing awful. The way she describes like what
My
happened.
luck my luck is that I would not be vaporized. I would be in, like, the fallout area where you just end up having, like, massive
Yeah.
cancers and die miserably. Yeah,
Oh,
that's my luck.
look, I don't want the third degree burns where you have to like amputate parts of my body so I could quote unquote survive. No, no. I just want to no. Burn me to ash. I'm done. I don't want to survive anything like this. I'm terrified. So it's a
We
great
should
book.
probably have said trigger warning, nuclear war.
Uh, it's a great book. So I tell you what, too, I have so much anxiety reading this book, and it's also so fascinating. Just learning about these
And there's
conversations that I had with these like upper military people, is so fascinating. I'm like gobbling this up. Like I just started this book like last night, and I'm already 106 pages in.
and
You
there's
know,
nothing going on in the world right now that could ever possibly result in anything that might be
no,
talked about
not
in that book.
ever. Not ever. So anyway, if you're interested in this kind of thing, I highly recommend it. Now I need to also see what else Miss Jacobson has written, because I like the structure of this book. Although it's a lot of detail, she is captivating in the way she explains things. And I'm you know I'm gonna look forward to getting back into it, as terrified as I am. Anyway, that's Nuclear War by Annie Jacobson. Has anyone read this? I believe this is out now. Yeah, this is out now.
I will not be reading that.
Okay, I'll just tell you about it. Oh, oh, it says she's the Pulitzer Prize finalist and author of First Platoon and Area 51. I will be getting those two books.
Area 51 sounds more like up my alley than
The First
that's
Platoon,
alright.
I want both. Yeah. So yeah, okay. What are you
We're
reading?
we're gonna we're gonna live it, whether we want to or not, if it's gonna happen. So I don't know if I need a plan, okay? My plan is to die, alright? That's my plan.
Right.
Anyway, so I have another book that I hate. I don't know if you can really even see this, but The Darcy Myth, which
Mm,
you've been watching me spiral while I
what?
read this. I'm still not
Yeah.
done with this. I'm so upset about this book. It is so horrendous. It is like the
Oh my
most terrible
goodness.
book. And so many people have been like, just DNF it, Alyssa. And I'm like, no, I need to know what insanity she's gonna come out with next, because okay. So the full title is The Darcy Myth, Jane Austen, Literary Heartthrobs, and the Monsters They Taught Us to Love by Rachel Federer. Now, Rachel, I don't think that you understand Pride and Prejudice at all, because your the whole theory that she's positing is that Mr. Darcy has set up poor expectations of relationships for women, and that he is the archetype of the monster bad boy that we all kind of try to chase after, think we can change, and like the dark broody guy who's gonna like somehow alter himself so that then he's perfect and we fall in love with him, which
Right.
that may be a thing that we do, but Mr. Darcy isn't a monster. And the way that she supports her argument is so poor in my
Mm,
not so humble opinion, because it just clearly shows that you don't understand the way this relationship goes down. She talks about like Lizzie changing Darcy and like making her like she chases after him. She doesn't pine after him. She doesn't chase after him. She doesn't do any of these things. She's not doing any of the things that you're blaming Mr. Darcy for. Like you're making Mr. Darcy this archetype for something that he isn't. And y- it's just fundamentally missed the entire point of this. I'll read this along with my reread of Pride and Prejudice, 'cause, right, like, I'm reading every like, the main books, all of her novels, completed novels
yes,
throughout
I
the
did
year,
see that
and I was
video.
like, "This will be really interesting to read along with it." Well, it's been eye-opening to see how doomed academia is if this professor is writing this dribble. It is so bad. And like so she even proclaims that she is not like an Austen, she's not an Austenite, she's not an Austen expert, she's not anything. She just happens to teach this class every year because she has to teach this class on Austen. And she just revels in ruining everybody's idea of Darcy. And it just it's just so asinine. Like it doesn't even make any sense. Like I just her wheelhouse is like Mary Shelley, gothic novels, all this. So then she's like constantly throughout the book, she's trying to like shoehorn all these like modern concepts, first of all, into Jane Austen, which Jane Austen is not your prototype feminist. She's not. She's just Jane Austen. She was a freaking Tory for God's sakes. She's not a feminist. Um, then she's then trying to like put all these like cultural references in, and she uses all this like really cringeworthy 30-something-year-old woman trying to talk like a 15-year-old
Mm,
verbiage, which is just
mhm.
grates me at every time. And
Yeah.
then she has these like meet the Darcy, and so she'll talk about different characters in pop culture and how they are a Darcy, and like none of them, it doesn't even make any sense. I mean I could say Naomi the is a Darcy because, and I just it would make as much sense as
Right.
these things that she said. It's so rage inducing to read this book. It will be my worst read book of the year. It'll be my worst book of the year. The absolute
L
worst book.
Listeners, I just have to tell you, while Alyssa was reading this book, she would pop in and DM me with a video just sharing her thoughts on whatever
Not a video.
chapter
Eh,
she just read, and I just died with laughter.
I was reading another chunk of this the other night, and if you follow me on Instagram, when I started to spiral in the middle of the night while I was reading this, and I actually yelled because I've been listening to it and reading along so I can write notes, and I actually yelled at the book, and then Jesus came downstairs, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry. Are you okay? Like, did I wake you up?" He's like, "Oh no, I was just thirsty." I was like, he's like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I was just literally screaming at my book."
So funny. I just You are not happy with it, and it's just
Because
funny.
it doesn't actually make sense. Like, if you
Yeah.
have read these novels, you there's just no way that you could read this and be like, "Oh, that's an interesting take." Also, she keeps, like, putting things in there, like, um and I need to see where she's getting this. I need to do some
Yeah.
background stuff, but, like, so, like, Jane Austen's sister, so I guess there was some man that came out and more recent years and said he was a descendant of his sister of Cassandra's,
Mm.
and who's Cassandra, if you don't know, she was engaged to somebody, and he went to like the Caribbean, West Indies to
Mhm.
earn more money so that they could actually come home and get married, and he died while he was there. So he did make a will before he left, and so she got a little bit of money, but she never got married because the guy she was supposed to be getting married to dies. And so this person comes out and says that they're descendants, and then so that sends her on to this whole tangent of saying that Cassandra had a baby out of wedlock, which there's no historical anything for. And
Wow.
and it's this whole big like Austin secret and like that stuff that's in the letters that were burned from between the sisters. And could that be true? I have no fucking clue because
Right.
the letters are burned. But like you're an academic talking about Taylor Swift,
Help me today.
like 200-year-old pregnancy rumors. I'm spitting on my mic now. Like I'm just I'm so mad. I'm so mad. And like she's like, well, and then in Sense and Sensibility, she's like, yeah, and Marianne is gets knocked up, and then when she fakes sick, she like loses the baby. And I'm like, what book did you read? What book did you read? What book did you read? What did you read, ma'am?
What?
Like so it's just I don't know. So like if you just don't read this book, please. For
That's
20 minutes,
hilarious, though.
it's just me continuing to spiral.
I think the
But I just
funniest
feel like
thing is the fact
where
that
she's getting it.
she said that she's not a what do you call it, Austenite, whatever. She doesn't
Yeah,
study
she's
the
not a
works of Jane
Janeite. She
Austen.
doesn't study it.
Right. So it's just funny that she's written
S
this.
so this but the, like, hypothesis, the point of this is that she's trying to, one, talk about this, like, archetype that Darcy is and how it has sort of skewed our ideas of romance.
Uh-huh.
When really the reality of Darcy and Lizzie's relationship is that they have a miscommunication in the beginning and a misunderstanding of fundamentally of who the other one really is. And then over time they end up realizing that they didn't ever truly understand each other and they sort of change their points of views on each other,
Yeah.
and they see how they both could be wrong and they grow and change as people, and then they, we hope, have a happily ever after. That's
Right.
really what that is. He's not a fucking monster. Anyway, but then also
Wow.
she's trying to shoehorn Austen novels into the Gothic. And what irritates me the most about this is that so because she's talking about Darcy, that means she's mostly talking about Pride and Prejudice and then occasionally references other books. But Austen has a book that is a Gothic novel. And she talks about Northanger Abbey, but she doesn't talk about it often, and she's not talking about it when she gets into her stride and she's trying to, like, make Jane Austen into, like, this horror gothic thing.
Right.
She's not talking about the one that actually is a gothic novel, that is
Mm.
playing on these themes. She's
Well,
trying
that's
to
a
shoehorn
choice.
other books into this. It is just such a shitty fucking book, and I don't know how it ever got published.
That is a choice. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. I won't be reading this, obviously. But hearing
I
your
wish
updates about it
I
have been
didn't.
really fun.
I wish I hadn't.
Well, how much wait, are you finished or you're just about
No,
finished?
no, no. I am like, I don't know. I don't even know. Too far. I have too far to go, but I'm too far into it now, okay?
Not right. Now you're invested
I'm
on another level.
I'm past the halfway point and I need to see what else. And she keeps saying like, if I can take liberties. You've been taking liberties the entire time you've been writing this, ma'am. Just keep going. What are you gonna say next?
Uh-huh.
It's
Oh my gosh. This is funny.
it's
Oh,
terrible,
it's funny
Naomi.
because she is really pissed.
If
Oh gosh.
I almost want to write her a strongly worded like response. Just like
Right.
go like rewrite her novel piece by piece.
I just
Rewrite her.
feel like if you could have her on your channel
No,
and
I
you
would
all could like, I
no,
know you're against it. I
I would
know,
disrespect her
but
immensely, and it would be inappropriate.
oh, I would have loved to
She
have
is
seen this
teaching
literary
children,
battle.
Naomi. Naomi, she is teaching children.
I'm just okay. Well, maybe one day you'll change your mind when you're not so much in the moment of reading it. It would have been like a really good literary debate, you know? Okay, maybe not. Moving
She
on. Moving on.
talks about Mr. Darcy like he's an influencer and he has a brand that he has. Literally, she says, "Mr." and his brand
I mean, she lost me there, but yeah, yeah.
is the cringiest piss poor book.
Wow.
So
Well,
that is what I am reading, folks.
and now I need to know, folks, has anyone else read this? And if you did, what were your thoughts?
The
Share
reviews
with us.
are like a mixed bag. It looks like on Storygraph, it's like 3.5 or something like that, which is pretty darn good for a shitty book. But like, I
But
can
how many of
only
those
guess.
people read Pride and Prejudice? That's what I would wonder.
Yeah, the people that it seemed like really, really have read this, they are
Yeah,
leaving like lengthy reviews that are like,
not
this
it,
is
ma'am.
dreadful. This
Yeah,
is what did you fundamentally missed the plot.
right, right.
And she doesn't pine for him and she never tries to change him. She tells him, "You're like a miserable son of a bitch, and I would never have accepted your proposal no matter how you say it to me." And then after that, they both kind of start to go, "Oh, well, maybe I wasn't the best person, and maybe I didn't see
Right.
things in the right light. Hold on a second." And it's about personal stuff. It's not about
Yeah.
nobody's changing the other one
Well, okay. And tell me again how you came across this book.
because we had an ALC for it.
Okay. All right.
And I
Okay.
was like, "Oh, that would be interesting to read." And then I started this whole like rereading all of the Austen novels. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to read a nonfiction book along with each one. Oh, this would be interesting to pair with Pride and Prejudice." And now I want to have gone back in time and not done that.
Right. Okay. All righty. Thanks for
That's
that.
me. Mhm.
Before we
I
move
also
on
just really
to
hate when academics do this, where they try to um, critique something against the ideals of the time now.
oh
Um,
yes, yes, yeah.
and there is a way to do that, but it's not the way that it's done in here. And that really bothers me. There's like, you
Hmm.
can't expect people to behave in a way that was not the way people behaved at the time that something existed or was created. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen because you can comment on it and you can make note of it, but you can't place maybe judgment fully in the
Hmm.
same way that you could if it was contemporaries doing something.
Yeah.
So like this is and it's really
It's
hard for me
almost
that
like
you're
he's like
supposedly an
forgetting time and
academic.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're an academic and you should I don't know, I just feel like you should be different and such a different experience reading the Lucy Worsley um Jane Austen biography last time, like when I was reading Sense and Sensibility and then reading this. It's like this is like a Tumblr post in comparison. I hate it so much. What is this episode? Is this episode just Alyssa shitting on a book? It might be. I might like
Okay.
Night Circus more than this.
Whoa.
At least
Whoa.
at least Erin Morgenstern can write a sentence.
Wow. That I was not expecting that. That was a plot twist. Well,
Mm.
listen, before we delve into today's conversation, I just want to say that it's now April 17th. And this weekend, the only thing I plan on reading is Gardens of the Moon. This is book one,
Oh,
folks,
yeah.
in the Malazan series, and we are reading this over on our Discord. So if you want to join us, join us. I'm a little concerned with what one of our Discord members said about trying to read this book. I'm a little concerned, but
I
I do want
haven't
to start
started yet.
this
I'm
weekend.
scared.
I'm scared too. I'm scared. I'm mostly scared because I really want to like it because I've been kind of like in this world of this series for the last couple of years, watching various videos or whatever. Because a lot of the fantasy readers that I follow have read the series, not once, but
Yeah.
twice, some of them. And
Yeah.
so it sounds so god darn good. I'm so excited to read it that I don't want to be let down by it. But I have a very busy weekend. I don't think I'll read much, but this will be at least a chapter two will be read. So
Maybe I'll
just wanted
start
to
it tomorrow.
put that out there. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What are we
That's it.
chatting about
Maybe I'll
today?
start tomorrow. We are
Okay.
talking about why does it seem like everybody has a book club now? If you are a famous lady, you have a book club. And
Yeah.
this is there was a cut article back on March 7th titled "Why Does Every Famous Woman Have a Book Club Now?" And it's interesting, and it's definitely something that I didn't quite realize how many famous women have book clubs.
I I certainly didn't know.
I mean, even on like I don't even know who all these people are because I don't know who everybody is, but on the picture, we have at least a couple people that I can recognize. I didn't know Emma Watson have one. I know that Dua Lipa has one because she has done stuff with the Booker Prize
With the
before.
Booker.
Was that Florence and the Machine?
I didn't know she had one.
We all know Reese Witherspoon has one.
Right.
I didn't know Sarah Michelle Gellar has something. I didn't
I
know.
didn't
I mean, I
either.
know that Dakota Johnson has one now, and I find Dakota Johnson fascinating.
She's very
I
interesting.
think
I
she's
like
she's
her.
just
I don't give a crap about anything.
I just think she's funny. I think that I just
She doesn't take
she
herself too seriously. Maybe that's why I like her.
no, and she makes me laugh. Um, but it feels like Dakota Johnson announcing hers was really the impetus for this article being written because it's kind of like, all right now, does every
Right.
woman in Hollywood have a book club? And in this article, it does also talk on the other thing, which I think touch on the other thing that I think is really interesting, and that is this like idea of the book. What do they call the book concierge or whatever? Like that
Yes.
some famous people have started to um, really focus on being seen reading certain things,
Right.
and then how that plays into, I guess, social media for books, but also like the celebrities and then publishing. Um, Interestingly, it seems like it doesn't have as big an impact as you would think, but just this
Right.
idea of like wanting to be perceived as
It's so
something.
effing weird. It's so effing weird. Also,
Well,
I noticed they did not mention Natalie Portman's book club.
Natalie
Um,
Portman has a book club? I see, like, I don't
yes.
really know because I don't pay attention to these things.
So here's how I
I
found out
only
about that. I had posted a review last year of um how how to love your daughter.
Mhm.
And under my review, this is I posted it on Lemon 8, and under that review, someone said, "Oh, Natalie Portman also chose that book for her book club this month." And I was like, "She has a book club?
Excuse
She's had one for
me.
years. Bless
Everybody has
you.
a book
She's
club.
had one for years." So they didn't mention her. They also did not mention A. Marie, who I have actually because I know her as an R&B singer, so I was already a fan. But she's had her own booktube channel and book club since 2019. So like right around the time I came into on Bookstagram, that's when I kind of found her booktube, but they didn't mention her either. I actually like her channel. She's got a great booktube channel. Anyway,
Oh, I don't even know that person, so link them in the thing.
yeah.
But I honestly, after reading this article, I joined the broadcast channel for Tea Time, which is, um, Dakota Johnson's book club,
Hmm.
uh, because I think what I liked is that they quote her in this first paragraph as saying, "Our book club is literary fiction. It's not beach reads. It's not silly."
Right. Right. The snark in the statement. I did a lot of when I read it, I was like, I did that out loud. So funny.
That felt like such a dig on Reese Witherspoon, in all
Oh
honesty.
yes. Oh yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I
She says, "It's
freaking
not
love
all
it.
female authors, but it's female forward, and it's a lot of first-time novelists. People
Hmm.
need to deep dive into knowledge about specific things rather than talking about what fucking face serum they're using and thinking that that's the most important thing in the world." She then went on to say that she loves face serum.
Yeah. Reading this article made me say, I think I gotta go grab a coffee with that lady.
I
She
think Dakota
seems
Johnson and I
hilarious.
would have a lot of fun. I think
Yeah,
we'd
she
have a
seems
good time.
hilarious.
Um, so yeah, but it is interesting. But I mean, it's definitely a vehicle for a lot of these actresses in particular to that are also um producers or whatever to
Right.
option things for movies and TV. And we've seen Reese Witherspoon capitalize that on that
I mean, she's done it incredibly well.
like a boss. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but I didn't know that Margot Robbie has optioned My Year of Rest and
I
Relaxation.
know. I was like, okay, I missed that little headline there. So that's going to
And
be interesting.
I feel like it's gonna be bad though.
Yeah, the jury is still out on that one. So we'll see. I don't know.
And also, I just don't know if I want it to be a movie. I think of all books that could be movies, it shouldn't be that one, but
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah.
But I
Definitely
mean,
interesting. Like I
it's
knew
very
about,
interesting.
of course we all knew about Reese's, like duh. And I knew about Bellarist or whatever it's called.
Mhm. You, like, follow a
And
Bellatrix.
yeah, I think I do. I think I followed it for a few years now. Although now that I'm talking about it, they're never pop up on my timeline, but whatever. But I didn't know about the
Because
others.
Meta
I mean, I
sucks,
knew
that's why.
Dua Lipa had something, but I don't follow it. But I knew she had something going on. Um, but yeah, I didn't know about the rest of them. And when I was doing Googling, I did see a Facebook post from Sarah Michelle Gellar from 2018 talking about her book pick for the month. And I was like, huh, missed that
Yeah,
all
and it
these
looks
years.
like some of these are very old, like, Our Shared Shelf is Emma Watson's,
That's an old one. Yeah.
and he looks really old. It's like one of the yeah, it looks like it's like Dunzo or something, but it's yeah, it looks like it's not really I don't know if they're doing anything, but it looks like they have something like, "What's your favorite book from 2019?" So it doesn't look like they're
Right.
really updating their socials in any way. But it's just
Exactly.
really interesting that I don't know what the driver is for people outside of movies to do this other than just like a love of books, obviously, which is cool and great and fine. But like, how many book clubs can you have?
Okay. I feel like we're using the term book club very loosely, right?
Yeah,
Um, because it's simply these ladies probably just like to read and they just want to share great books with other people who also like to read, right?
which
Like
is
because there's like
phenomenal.
most
Let's
of it is
do it.
nothing to join for most of them. You're just like, okay, this is what this celebrity is reading for the month. Okay, great. I'll just pick that same book and read it too. So I think it's just an outlet for them. They like to read. Social media is a great platform to talk about those books, and that's just what it is. I think that the term book club, we just use that because it's just a gathering of folks who like the same thing, and that thing is
Yeah.
books.
But I did find the way it sort of trickled down into celebrity culture and wanting to be seen reading
That's the interesting part to me.
something unlike other people. Like, I'm not like other girls reading.
Yes.
I read whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and the fact that there is somebody whose job it is to curate books for celebrities to be seen holding.
Right.
How is that
Yeah,
not
because
my job? Um,
I hello? Right. Because it talks about this article talks about Kendall Jenner um being photographed, with books, and one of the books that she was photographed in, that author kind of did like a little mini investigation to find out how she even got a hold of said book, and that's how she came to um see that Jenner has this young lady called, her name is Ashley Gonzalez, who is her book concierge. And it
mhm.
says she's tasked with supplying the model and reality star with grammable literature, often annotated throughout with turquoise post-it notes.
That's the really interesting part is that, like, y so she's reading books, annotating them, and then giving them to this whatever which one is it? Kylie? Kendall?
Kindle, Kindle.
Kendall, which I don't know, they're all the same to me.
Wait, does it?
Um,
Wait, yeah, I think so. Okay.
um, and you're giving it to her, so, like, what? So, like, Kendall doesn't even have to do any work, she just has all the thoughts, like,
It's so
what are the
weird. It's
Post-its? Are you
like
explaining the book to her as you go?
it's like, well, it's just so weird. It's like, are you a reader? Are you reading the book? Like, I can understand if you know someone who just always finds the best books, and you're like, help me out, girl. Be my book concierge. But like, you actually read the books that the book concierge gives you, that's cool, you know? But but just having this person give you books that look really cool and really make you look really smart, and in your social media post, is just so weird to me. It's
It
very
is weird,
weird.
but I think it highlights this, the idea of, like, intellectualism almost as a dirty word, like, that we value the appearance of intellectualism almost to some extent more than we actually value something being good. Like,
Mm,
if it's,
mm-hmm,
um and I feel like that's why some of these, like, book prizes themselves can get a little, like, disappointing
mm-hmm,
because it's almost like you think too highly of yourself,
mm-hmm.
that you're trying to be special or different or avant-garde or, be seen as something that maybe you aren't, and you're falling short
Right.
of actually executing a good book, like, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the same idea of, like, I wanna be seen being different than everybody else. Like, I don't wanna be walking around with Fourth Wing under my elbow, like, that might
Right.
be what I'm actually interested in, but I wanna have Eve Babbitt's. Like, I don't know why Eve Babbitt's got this resurgence recently,
She
but, like,
really did.
in the last 2 or 3 years, it's just been like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's this Ashley
It's that green and
Gonzalez's
pink
part.
book, right? That I always see in
Sex and
people's
Rage?
photos.
Yeah, and that's fine, like, all these things are great, like, there's nothing wrong with reading any of these things, there's nothing wrong with, like,
Oh, is that one of those hot girl
liking
books? Hot girl
but I think
books?
there's certain yeah, there's, like, that hot girl reading kind of aesthetic, whatever, and it's like you have to like, you're not gonna be seen out and about with, like, Jackie Collins. You're gonna be
Right.
seen out and about with
Exactly.
something, like, intellectual, pseudo-intellectual, something, like, indie, something not like everybody else is reading.
Right.
Um, yeah, like, it sort of cheapens things in some way, like
Yeah, because there's a lack of authenticity.
yeah, and it's not anything to do with the writers and their work
Yeah.
necessarily. It's about, like, I don't know, like, do you genuinely like something? Like, could you genuinely like something? I don't know.
Right.
If you have to have a concierge find you books, annotate and post-it them for you, are you genuinely liking something? Or I don't know. Did you just want to look smart
Yeah.
for Instagram?
I mean, it's very weird to me if you're not even reading the books. I'm just saying, it's strange.
But I don't know. Are they could be. I don't know.
I would love to know. I would love to know. And I'm not, yeah, it's very weird.
It's very strange to me to
But that's how it is now, though, right? Because, like, we've talked about this on several episodes, that, reading has become a very sexy thing to do.
it
And
is.
people have said,
It always
many
was to
people
me.
across all the platforms, that they feel a lot of pressure in regards to reading, and being in the bookish social media space. People feel pressure to keep up with all the new releases. I think you sent me some thread about, I don't know, somebody mentioned that, like, nobody reads like old books or something. Like, there's just weird things happening in the social media bookish culture. But there's a lot of pressure that people feel to, like, keep up, you know, to read those new releases, or if you're gonna read backlists, it's gotta be the hot girl backlist books. You gotta have the
Mhm.
pretty stacks. You have to have a lot of there's just it's a lot happening, that it's like, can we just read? Like, you're focused on
Yeah,
all these other, let's just read. And let's stop judging people for what they read. Like, whatever you want to read, just read it and just enjoy it. And let's focus less on the other BS.
I think that's one of the interesting things about, like, running my channel, right, and talking to other people and
Yeah.
hearing all the criticisms on, like, bookish socials and stuff, and how, like, there's common things. Um, Everybody's reading the same thing. Um, People seem to be reading just to, like, hit certain numbers or targets. People don't seem to be comprehending things. People and it's like, I think if people just read to read the
Yep.
things that make them happy, and if
Yep.
you wanted to talk about them on your social media, you did. You talked about what you wanted to talk about, and more people did that. I think it would change the landscape a little bit, because I think a lot of the stuff that makes people frustrated with social media is like this Kendall Jenner being posing with a book kind of nature of it all, right?
Right.
So, like, you can read the book, not really digest it at all, or maybe you do, but whatever. Um, you talk about it for a few minutes, you post about it because everybody else is posting about it, whatever it is that you're doing. But when you're caught up in the crowd of it all, you lack a certain amount of, like, authenticity or genuineness or
Yeah.
specialness. It
All the
loses that because
all
it's
the above.
stuck. You yeah, you get, like, wrapped into everybody else. Um, And I do find that, like, I the more I talk to people, and it might just be because, like, I attract these people in my life, I don't know. But the more I talk to people, the more I find that people go, like, they either leave BookTube, say,
Hmm.
because or watching BookTube because they're just tired of seeing all the same old things, and they're just not interested anymore, and, like, they're tired of the same old content or whatever. Or they have spent a lot of time trying to find people that just read something other than what everybody else is reading, and it can get
Absolutely.
really difficult to find those people
Yep.
because I don't know, I mean, you can't beat algorithm, you can't beat any of that stuff because obviously if it's popular, the algorithm's going to pick up on that and push that out to you. But I think if more people started to talk about just what they actually like, actually genuinely talked about what they liked and not what they feel like they have to talk about, I
Hmm.
think it would change a bit,
I
especially
think so
if
too.
more creators shouted each other out too, which I don't think a lot of people do.
Not
Um,
anymore.
and if you spent more time being like, I watch Bobbity Bot and um, I really like that they read these like really obscure Bob books, whatever, and
Hmm.
you should check them out. It's really interesting. You're gonna find things you've never found before. Go there. There's a lot of people out there, but, like, you're kind of working in these little isolated silos. We don't have book concierges. We don't have Kendall Jenner, uh,
Right.
millions of followers, so we can post a book by an indie press that no one's heard about and have people flock to buy it and sell out Amazon
Exactly.
or whatever. So
Exactly.
we don't have that kind of reach, but I think you could change the landscape a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that maybe some people feel like if they're not posting what everybody else is reading, that there's no point because they won't get any engagement, they won't get any
Yes.
traction. And so, if you have these accounts and part of the reason why you have them is because you're wanting to talk to other readers and you want to engage with other
Mhm.
readers, but if every time you post about a book that isn't in the popular hemisphere of online bookish social media, then after a while you just stop posting altogether because like well, what's the point? No one's commenting
May
anyway, nobody's engaged in what I'm reading anyway, because everybody's over here reading, enter whatever popular book you want, so it becomes very
maybe we
discouraging
need
for a lot of
to
people.
find ways to get more of the books into Kendall Jenner's hands so that our
There
videos
you
can pop
go.
up.
There you go. There you go. Because I
Yeah,
cannot tell you, I feel like every time, and even me, I've lost interest in Bookstagram. You know, I've been losing interest in that for a while now. But every time I go on there, I'm reading somebody's post about why they've decided to leave Bookstagram.
oh,
Like
Bookstagram
they're just
boring.
fleeing, just going away. Um, it's definitely like it's not like how it was when I joined in 2019.
Mm-mm.
Um, so I miss how it used to be. But
I don't really think that I think I'm gonna sound like like a real weirdo when I say this. I feel like Book Talk is basically probably a few feet from its end. Like, I think that, like, we're like the
oh,
apex of it. Like, I think it's gonna you're gonna start to see it, like,
bubbles about to
crumble,
pop.
probably. I think so. Because I think a lot of it is I mean, you can only go on for so long with people criticizing the fact that you only talk about the same things, and I know that then everybody says, "But it's your algorithm," and it is, and you do have to curate it, but, like,
Yeah.
people get tired. It's happened on Instagram. We've seen it. It happened on Instagram. It happened on
Yep.
BookTube. It's happening, and it's gonna happen on BookTok. Eventually, people are just gonna be tired of the same old, same old, same old,
Yep.
same old, and the algorithms feed that, and so then people will not want to hunt for things. The people who will, but most people won't, and then
Yeah.
they'll hop over whatever the next thing is. And also, I think that people are getting a little tired of certain aspects of how booktube is. Like, I think that people are a little tired of the we talked about this last episode. I think people are tired of, like, the kind of predatory smut reading. Like, I think are people just getting a little exhausted? Like, I don't want to see grown women harassing people in the comments in the name of booktube, big talk,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Um, it's weird. It's not a good look. Like, read your books, cool, cool beans. Read your books, love it, awesome. All the smut you want, as nasty as you want it, I'm cool. Go for it. But when you start being weird to people
Yeah.
on the internet in the name of book talk, it's weird.
Right.
It's weird.
Right. It's interesting too. I don't think any of these celebrities that we're talking about that have book clubs, I don't think any of them are pushing it on Book Talk, are they? They seem to all be on Instagram or no, mainly just Instagram.
Yeah, they're like almost all on Instagram.
So that's interesting too because none of them are like pushing their club on TikTok.
Well, I think TikTok, you have to like really be involved, right? I think it's easier to outsource Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. That's true.
Like, I don't think Dakota Johnson is sending these broadcasts.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, she might read them, but I don't think that
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
sitting there with her phone, like tapping out on, she
Exactly.
has an assistant. And I think that that's much harder on TikTok because you'd
Yeah,
have to
that's
like
true.
be a part of it. You know what I mean?
That's true. I don't know. It's all very interesting, and like this article mentions, you would think that the book sales numbers from these whatever books these celebrities are choosing to be as part of their book picks, you would think that it would make some huge difference, but it really isn't. It's like it has a very
That
short
was
span of
really
like
interesting.
a week or a month of like a big, sales high, but then like it goes right back down to what it was before very quickly. So it's not sustainable, constant
Yeah.
uptick. It's just like a quick uptick and then boom back down to where it was
Yeah.
where it started. So
That was a really interesting point they made that, like, even though one of the books, which is a bit more obscure, um, got sold out on Amazon after Kylie or whatever, or Kendall or whoever was seen with the book, it really doesn't have it's like a flash in the pan. You make like a big
yeah,
and then you fall back down to your regular sales. It's not giving them sustainable, like they're not becoming phenomenons.
right, right,
And I wonder
yeah,
if which I think is actually really interesting because you think about it, like the things that are becoming phenomenons are like the books that we're talking about is just Joe Schmo over on Bookstagram or whatever, like your Fourth Wings, you're this, you're that. It's
hmm,
those are the things that are becoming like big. It's
yep,
not these obscure indie press literary fiction hot girl books, right? It's not
right.
that's not they're not sweeping the nation.
Right. Like I don't hear, Barbara Jean over in, I don't know, Oklahoma talking about how fantastic A Little Luck by Claudia Pinheiro was.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you
So
should read A Little Look, it's wonderful.
you should, Barbara Jean. Barbara Jean, you should.
So, I mean, it's just it's very interesting. This wanting to be perceived as intelligent is interesting. The actual limited reach that has for these authors and publishing, um, how other facets of social media and, like, marketing have massive reaches for
Hmm.
different kinds of books. It's all very it's fascinating a little bit, yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, because again, like you, I had no idea so many of these celebrity women had book clubs. Again, I only know about two of them. And then the other two that aren't even listed here. Although interestingly, I found out just by going to Amy Reed's book club's website, she actually has an English degree from Georgetown University. I was like, oh, well, excuse me, ma'am, Miss
Miss
English
Naughty
Lip.
Pants.
I had no idea. But yeah, it's so interesting. And now I'm like, who's next? Who's going to start a club next? And are the celebrity men going to be starting book clubs too?
I was
It's,
gonna
it's
say, like, it
it's
would be
kind of
very
fun to watch.
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to
Oh,
watch.
I saw this TikTok. It was really funny. I'll have to send it to you, but it was this lady who was talking about, how, like, men don't read fiction predominantly, like, they read, most men read, like, articles or they read nonfiction or they read, like, self-help. They don't like, the majority of fiction readers are women, and studies have shown that, like, reading fiction makes you, like, live longer, it makes you more empathetic, it makes you, like it's
Ah,
linked to a bunch of stuff, and it's
yeah.
and I was like, maybe they should read more
Uh,
fiction.
perhaps.
Or maybe
Perhaps.
not, let them go early.
Right.
That's how I feel.
It's a toss up. It's a toss up. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Are there any celebrity men that I know of that have made it public knowledge that they're like serious avid readers?
I feel
I
like
can't.
Henry Cavill should have a fantasy book club.
Okay, is he a big fantasy reader?
Oh my god, yes.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to see like who's next in this celebrity book club phenomenon here. It's fun to watch, you know.
I will be following along with Dakota Johnson's because I
I
just
think
find
I
her
joined
funny.
hers too when I was just doing my little research before we started recording.
Yeah, because it's funny. It's funny. I find her funny, okay? I think it's
Yeah.
also, like, the incredibly dry delivery she gives sometimes when she's talking about things.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well,
I did
this was
not
very interesting.
It is interesting. I think it's funny that she picked Beautyland, though, for her first book, because
Yeah, that was one of our Libra ALCs.
I did read it, and yeah, I mean, I would read something else from this author if they write another thing, um, but I think as the months have passed, it's becoming forgettable.
Mm. Okay.
And it's
Okay.
not necessarily that it's a bad book, but it's almost too quiet, and I don't know, but then I know, like, lots of people also really loved it too, so it just might not have been for me.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll listen to it at some point. At some
Yeah.
point, since I have it. Yeah, that's funny. Well, you celebrity ladies, you just keep on reading. You just keep on reading, and Kindle, you just keep on taking photos with books. I don't know if she read them or not because the article didn't say, and I don't follow a
I don't
Kindle
follow
Jenner, so I don't
Kardashians,
know.
but I do know because I know that, like, people make videos that are like, "I read everything that Kendall Jenner read," and they, like, go through her Instagram and, like, pull out books from photos
Oh,
and
people do that.
things.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, so I know that people do that, but I don't know if she's actually read them.
right,
How would I know that? Like, I don't know, like, do we quiz
right,
her? Like, how do we find that out?
right.
But I do
Like
think it's
I know
interesting
some of these other ones are reading them because they do talk about them.
what I think is interesting is that it's getting sent to her with, like, Post-its on them and, like, annotations.
Well,
I think
I
that
couldn't
that's really
tell.
interesting.
I couldn't tell if the book curator's doing that or if that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make it clear
That read li to me like the book curator is doing it,
it's giving it to her that way. That's weird. That's just
or
weird
maybe I
and
just
lazy.
so she's tasked with supplying the model and reality star with grammable literature, often annotated throughout with turquoise Post-it notes. So it sounds like
Okay, so it
she's
sounds like she's
doing
doing
it.
it.
To
Yeah.
me, that's the way it reads, is that she's doing it and Kendall just what, reads the Post-its? Are they to encourage her to like it?
No,
Are
I
they
think
to
it's because
explain it?
hang on. Nope, it's not that. It's because also the act of annotating has become very trendy and sexy on social media,
That's true too.
which is also strange to me because now people are feeling pressure because I see it. People are feeling pressure to start annotating their books because they see everyone else doing it. It's like I feel like some things just come naturally. If you feel a desire to annotate, then you will start annotating. But to
Yeah.
start to force yourself to start doing it because everyone else is doing it is strange to me. Look, I'm clearly not a follower, so all those follower type of things weird me out sometimes because it's like you don't have to do it because everyone else is doing it.
I mean, I
You
do
just
love a good annotation, okay? Like, I annotate.
I do
Um,
too. It's a
I
habit from
don't
college that's
annotate
stuck.
everything, but there's things that I don't annotate, and, like, there's things that get me are, like, when people annotate, like, romance novels. Why?
Well, oh, because here's what I also learned. Okay. I also learned okay, so I annotate pretty much similar to how I did it in college. You know, I've had some tweaks here and there, but it's really just for me to dig deeper into the text that I'm reading. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But then there's also what I learned recently is people are annotating aesthetically. I was like, okay, well, what's that? And so, as some have explained to me in various posts, that's when you just like doodle in your books. You know, you put hearts and you know, you're drawing them like it's pretty annotations. It's like it's aesthetic. You know, you may draw flowers or hearts or birds or whatever, or and they're very much in the color coding and stuff like that. So I learned that on social media that there's old school annotators like me and you, and then there's also people who enjoy annotating their books in an aesthetic manner.
My stuff's not aesthetic.
Oh, I mine is definitely not. And again, it's just you know, it's just to dig deeper into it. If I have questions or I have to my own thoughts and opinions I want to ascertain into the book. That's what it's for me. And like you, I don't
Sometimes I
annotate
just like
everything.
a passage. It just is really beautifully
Yeah,
written, but,
yeah. I mostly
like,
only annotate literary
it's
fiction,
weird to me
and nonfiction.
it's weird to me to, like, highlight, "And then he growled your mind." Like, that's weird to me, like, why? What do
Right?
you
Like
need to
I'm not
remember?
annotating Lucky by Jackie Collins as an example. You know what I
And
mean?
it's I mean, and I guess if you're listening and you do annotate your romance novels, could you explain it to me? Because it's clearly not something that Naomi's gonna explain to me because Naomi doesn't do that.
I don't read romance. So, and I don't,
So,
yeah, yeah. I don't know. But I do feel like annotating is a very personal thing. Like you'll see 1,000 posts like, I really want to start annotating. How do I do it? And I just feel like it's something that is a
oh, I
very
hate that
natural,
question. You just
right?
you
Because
just
it's a natural
underline stuff.
personal thing. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you circle shit. Like I don't know. Like I don't highlight in my books anymore. I only use a blue pen now. You know, that's something that in college I highlighted a lot when I was annotating. But these days I have a new method now. I just use a blue pen and that's it. I don't highlight a damn thing, but other people still enjoy highlighting. So again, that's how I like to annotate my books. That's a very personal thing. So I feel like that's something you should figure out on your own. And I would think that would come naturally to you as you're reading. I don't know. Maybe whatever. I'm done with this conversation. Someone's gonna take offense to this. I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm just saying that annotating is a very personal thing, and whatever calls to you in the form of annotating as you're reading, then just do that. And then also give yourself the space to understand that the way you annotate today may not be how you annotate 5 years from now. And it's all good. Just go with the effing flow. That's all. Chill out. Just whatever. Do whatever you want to do.
I think people are overthinking things.
People are always overthinking things, and that's what gets on my nerve. There's no wrong or right way for you to annotate. Do it however you want. However you want. Okay. Anyway.
But explain to me what the hell you're annotating in your romance novel.
Alyssa really needs to know.
Is it for later? Like, is it research? Are you like, "I need to bring this home to hubby?" Like, that's like, okay. I don't I don't know if you need highlighters for that, but just
I
stick a
don't
tab,
know. It,
like,
the
"Babe, read
aesthetic
this paragraph."
annotating is a thing now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I do like annotating. I write my book, so I have a scribe. I like annotating, obviously I do.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
annotate everything.
Yeah.
Depends on
And
how I'm feeling.
I only annotate fantasy if there's so much going on where I need to like really like write stuff out in the book and make connections. You know what I mean? But other than that, I would normally not annotate fantasy if it weren't for like the need to like organize things for my own brain. But it's
Mhm.
mostly like I said, mostly nonfiction, translated fiction, and lit fic. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Book recommendation time.
So I don't have a book to show you because I
Okay.
don't own the book. Um, but it's a nonfiction book that I'm going to pull up right now so I can get everything correct. It's called
Okay.
Having and Being Had by Eula. Is it Bliss or Biss? Biss,
Wait, repeat that one more
Biss.
time because I heard a little you tapped out. Repeat that one more time.
Having and Being Had by
Okay.
Eula Biss, not Bliss. See, this is my problem.
Okay.
So this is a collection of essays um, about uh, this woman and her like ruminations and experiences attempting to essentially live an ethical life under capitalism. So it is a really interesting look at that struggle to um, balance maybe your moral needs with the world around you. How do you operate within capitalism when you don't maybe necessarily agree with it, or when you can
Mhm.
see its major flaws? It was a very, very interesting collection of essays. And she talks a lot about like um, her life. She's a writer, she's a mother, she's a homeowner, like all these things like y- touch points she has with having to interact with
Mhm.
um the capitalism, and then also how that makes her kind of feel, and then is there a way to get around it? And there's really no solutions to anything or anything like that. It's not that kind of book, but
Yeah.
it was a very interesting, just like I said, rumination on capitalism, living under capitalism, ethics under capitalism, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Sounds good.
Like, what do we value? Like, how things keep changing, in the sense of like things just seem to not be as like, so like you buy something and it doesn't last as long. It's not
Yeah.
like, almost like the whole world is just like a big giant paper tiger kind of thing. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's I really enjoyed them. What was to say here? Because I just it's hard to explain it because that's really what it is, and then each essay is very specific to certain moments in her life or examples, etc. But it says she offers an uncommonly immersive and deeply revealing new portrait of work and luxury, of
Mhm.
accumulation and consumption, of the value of time and how we spend it, ranging from IKEA to Beyonce to Pokemon.
Mm.
This asks of both herself and her class in what have we invested. So like it's she has these like life examples, and then she'll talk a little bit more specifically about like the economics of things, um, and she does have these discussions with the different economists. That's the word I'm looking for.
Mhm.
So it's I, very interesting. If that's a topic that you like, I would pick it up. I think they're really well done, and
Yeah.
it's a little, I will say, I think my critique of it is that it's not very intersectional in any way. I mean, it's obviously
Mhm.
like a straight white woman's experience, um, and there's obviously a lot more experiences out there, but and this doesn't claim to be like the only point of view, but definitely is limited in that sense because obviously it's personal. So it's going to be
Right.
about that particular person's experience. So
Right.
that's definitely an unfortunate drawback to that kind of
Right.
narrative. So
Yeah, yeah. Still sounds interesting though.
very interesting.
Anything
Yeah.
about living within capitalism is interesting to me.
Yeah, it's the kind of book that's like thought provoking and frustrating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I
Mhm.
like it. Um,
What you got?
I have a book that was a fun read. From Dutton. Thanks, Dutton. The Night of the Storm by Nishida Harek, I think. This was a fun little thriller. It's not something that like stays with you like after you read it really, but it was a good time. Um, so in this
So
book, The Night of Huh?
like a beach read.
Yes, that's what it was like, but like a little better than that. You know what I mean? I really did like this. So our main character, Gia, she is a single mom. She's recently divorced. She's having a really hard time. Her kid just got suspended from school, and now a hurricane's coming. A hurricane's coming, and so is it her sister, her ex-sister-in-law? Her sister has invited them and some other family members to kind of hunker down at her huge home. And it seems like this is going to be a great idea. Family and friends together. We're just going to weather this hurricane, and we'll all be safe and it'll be all good. That is until somebody gets murdered. Okay. And so now we're trying to figure out who in the hell has murdered this person? Who saw anything? Who heard anything? Meanwhile, Gia is kind of like reeling from threats from her ex-husband, as it relates to their child, and many secrets are revealed from everyone in this house throughout this waiting out of the hurricane, and it got quite juicy, and I was here for all the fun that was had in this book. It was a very enjoyable read. It was a really interesting read. I love the characters. I love all the plot twists, and I had a great time. So if you haven't picked up The Night of the Storm, I highly recommend it. Thanks again, Dutton, for this book. This is her debut novel as well. Um, so I am interested to see what she does next. Yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
the author was born and raised in Mumbai, but now lives in Texas, and she is a software programmer by day, crime writer at
Oh,
night. So that was she's an interesting person to kind of follow and see what she gives us next. But yeah, that was good, and I love the cover
yeah.
so much. It's beautiful.
It is cool. I like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
so I had a good
It's been a
time. I
long
had a really
time
good
since
time.
I've read Thriller.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Oh. Oh.
Wow,
Oh, I'm tired. Okay.
I'm tired too.
Was it
I'm tired and I'm hot.
oh, not that hot.
I'm hot.
It's breezy up here in New York. It's not that
Thanks,
warm yet.
perimenopause. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I don't have that problem.
Well, I've hit that side of TikTok, so now I know I'm not alone. And apparently, I'm lucky. I'm luckier than a lot of other women. I did not have a doctor who gaslit me into thinking I was effing crazy. I came in thinking that I was still suffering from long COVID. He was like, "It's you got some long COVID stuff going on, but also sounds like you're in perimenopause. And here's what we're going to do." So I'm thankful. Thank you, Dr. Lee, for not gaslighting me. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Dr. Lee. Yeah.
We appreciate you. Yes, love you, Dr. Lee. Anyway, follow us everywhere at TBR Lowdown. Visit our website, tbrlowdown.com. Join in on our Malazan Book of the Fallen series read. And
Oh, I'm gonna have to get into that.
I know, I
I'm
know, I know.
scared.
I'll hold
Okay.
your hand. I'll hold your hand. Just hold my hand. And look, share this podcast with 20 friends. Wow, that's ambitious, but I've said it now. It's out there. I can't take it back. No take backsies.
She's
So
crazy, man.
that's sometimes I am. No take backsies. So that's gonna do it for us. I'm hot and tired, and I got to get out of here. All right, that's it for us. We're out of here. Bye.
Bye.